up, boss, and welcome back to the Luxe Boss Channel. As I told you guys before, I was coming back for part 2. You thought I got up and walked away. No, I'm still here. Hey, I gotta drink some water though, because my throat is, y'all hear it, I'm not as hey. So now in part 2, now that I've covered the long story, I was trying not to go over 20 minutes, but y'all know me, I talk. So I'm gonna try to make this one quick for real. I'm just gonna jump right into the questions because I feel like y'all know the spiel already from the last video. However, if you are new, make sure you go watch the first video so you can find out why I stopped selling charm bangles and charm bracelets and why I'm not talking about it no more. Go find out in the last video. But in this video, y'all know I talk with my hands too, so if that bothers you, I'm sorry. I meant to say that in one of my last videos, like one of my last vlogs, and I was like, I was moving my hands way too much. But anyway, in the last video I covered that question, which is the most asked question here on my channel and on Instagram for various reasons, and so I tried to cover every little bit of that in that last video. But in this one, I'm going to go ahead and answer all the other questions. Also, if you want to find out how the questions or how my Q&As are going to be broke down over the next couple of months, you definitely want to go watch the first video so that you can find out. If you forgot, go rewatch the first part so you can find out. But today I'm just going to be covering majority of the questions that came from Instagram from my last Q&A post. So let's go ahead and jump into those questions. Okay, so the first question is, how do I find product recipes? Fun fact, at least I'm gonna say 75%-ish, no, I'm gonna say 60% of the recipes that we have now stemmed from recipes that I had when I was like in high school and stuff. So some of these recipes, especially like our hair oil, stuff like that, kind of come from recipes that I just kind of concocted over me Googling random stuff and watching other people's YouTube videos, and watching, like, you know, how-to videos and all types of stuff from years ago, and they just kind of have evolved over time. But a lot of the recipes that I kind of curate start out with me researching an ingredient. So for example, when I was starting out turmeric soap, I always love to start with turmeric soap because it's like, or like explain the process of how I make turmeric soap, because it's like one of our most best-selling products. So when I started out with the process of making turmeric soap, for a couple of years, well, I'm not gonna say for a couple of years, I think this started for me like back when I was like a senior in college. I was making a turmeric mask, and I would mix turmeric and coconut oil and honey together and put it on my face to like remove dark spots. I had the turmeric bar came about because I had an extremely bad allergic reaction to something back in over the summer of 2019. I had just graduated, and it covered the entire top of my forehead down to the side of my cheeks, and it looked like I had been burned. And I had these huge like patches on my skin, and it was the worst thing ever. And I started religiously doing the turmeric mask, and my face has gotten a lot better, but I started religiously doing the turmeric mask, and it come to find out, it turned out to be eczema on my face that was just getting worse, and it would turn into an allergic reaction because I was allergic to a lot of things like around me in my environment. So plus the person I was working with at the time had cats, and I am actually severely allergic to cats, to come to find out. So that had a whole nother section to it. But it started out with me researching more of the benefits of turmeric. So I definitely suggest, if you're looking for recipes, what is the recipe? Like if you wanted to do coffee scrub, find out what the benefits are of coffee for the skin, and then kind of go into that, and then start to look at other recipes. Now sometimes you'll look at those recipes and be like, I don't want none of this, but you'll see what won't work for you, and you'll be able to kind of play off of that to find other ones. Pinterest is gonna be your best friend, okay? There are a lot of these wholesale vendors that sell like shea butter and oils and things of that nature. They actually put recipes on their website as well. If you guys are looking for a good website, try Wholesale Supply Plus. On their website, at the bottom of some of their ingredients, they actually give you recipes for different things. So that might be something you might want to try out if you own a business, I don't know. But a lot of it is trial and error also, and really just learning your ingredients. I think for an entire month, y'all, I would get caught at work like researching ingredients. Like for an entire week, I became obsessed with black seed oil and wheat germ oil. Shout out to my Uncle Tay. He actually put the entire family on black seed oil, like, you know, a couple of years ago, and I would incorporate it in things like I would use black seed oil in my hair all the time. Didn't really know the benefits. I would use it on my skin. I was making face serum like back in 2018, True Purity. I was like making True Purity, and it was like black seed oil and coconut oil and olive oil, and I was putting it on my face, not knowing that that stuff probably should not be all mixed together at once. But yeah, like a lot of my recipes come from trial and error and from previous recipes. And I also, like I said, I suggest going on Pinterest, definitely trying, looking at some of the websites you use. They have recipes on them, trying, you know, watching a lot of videos. There are a lot of channels here that give recipes. There are a lot of like soap channels and hair channels that actually give you recipes already. So it's just trial and error, using your, you know, common sense and knowledge, and what's readily available to you is kind of the same thing as past videos. Research, that's all I can tell you. And you really need to take heed to what I'm saying about that trial and error. You don't want to just make a product and then you just start selling it, because you don't know, one of the ingredients might cause, you know, not react well. And so you definitely want to try things for, I'm gonna say, a couple of months before you just pop it out. So that's why I say trial and error. Okay, the next question that I got is, what is happening with my wedding? What you mean what's happening? It's coming up, girl. I think we have, let's check, we have 170 something days. Let me see. Let me tell y'all. So we have 100 and let's see how many days. My knot is loading really slow. We have 174 days, y'all. I have 174 days. I think I've told you guys this once in a vlog before, but my fiance and I are getting married in Las Vegas. And then another question was, why did we pick Las Vegas? The reason we picked Las Vegas is, if you guys don't know, I'm from Chicago and my fiance is from Mississippi. We met in school in Mississippi, and obviously we're together there for 3 years. And so our families come from two different sides of, they don't necessarily come from two different sides of the world, but they come from two different places, completely different places. It's not like he lives, you know, 2 hours away. They come from two completely different places. And while our families did not care, they were just like, get married in Chicago, get married in Mississippi, we don't care. We were like, no, we're gonna make both y'all travel. So we're gonna make everybody travel. And then initially we were considering doing a wedding out of the country, like in Mexico or Puerto Rico, something to that effect. But with the thing, y'all know, the current state of, I don't want to say it because sometimes YouTube be flagging stuff, but with the current state of our world, thank God that we are sort of coming out of that now. But with the current state of our world, at the time that we got engaged, we were in the thick of that thing, man. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and plan this wedding in Vegas and hope and pray that the world as it is now will be a little bit more open. And so that's what we did. And when I tell y'all, this experience of planning this wedding in Vegas has been A1, top tier. If you're ever looking for a place to plan a wedding where you just want your family to have fun, where you want things to just be kind of, we are having the most carefree, just super fun filled, it's gonna be like a family reunion. I am so freaking excited for my wedding. I cry when I talk about it sometimes, but I am so excited for our wedding. I cannot wait to share more with you guys. I can't wait to vlog the experience. Like, y'all just do not know. I'm so excited. I'm praying that I can have a new camera by the time the wedding rolls around, so we're gonna see about that. But we're very excited. We are actually getting married at the Aria, which is a hotel there, and our wedding started out at 50 people. Actually, our wedding started out at 35 people when we first started planning, because like I said, we were in the thick of the thing, and then it slowly grew to 50. And then in about what, February, the world started opening back up. The lady at the resort was like, just wanted to let you guys know that if you want to add more people, you can. Well, if y'all know anything about a hotel in Vegas, child, is expensive, okay? And with everything opening back up, hotels, flights, they're trying to get all the money back that they lost from a year. And so our price went from like one thing, and the more people we added, she was like, I was like, not today. So we are actually having a smaller ceremony with about 65 of our family members. That's still more. And then we're actually having a reception with about 150 of our closest friends and family, and we are so excited. The reception is a little further down the ways at a beautiful, absolutely beautiful kind of like reception place or whatever. I am so excited. It's gonna be the best day of my life. I'm speaking it already. I'm grateful that we're even able to do this, and it's amazing. Like, shout out to our family, shout out to our coordinators, because none of this could be done. We have a meeting once a month. Our coordinators, which are my aunts, and then my parents, and Jamal and I, and my maid of honor is there, and we have these meetings and we get stuff done and we're moving along. So everything is going great. We have more wedding videos to share with you guys, but I've just been waiting until we got a little bit closer, and there are certain things that I didn't want to share in the process and certain things that I'm waiting to share until after I become a Mrs. So yeah, the wedding is going smooth. I just don't talk about it that much because, I mean, to be honest, y'all, I was probably one of the easiest brides to work with. I walked in a dress place, I tried on like 6 dresses, and then I tried on the like 7th and my mouth dropped to the floor, and I was like, can we take that dress and can we take this dress and combine them things? She was like, yeah. I was like, cool, let's go get the dress. I'm out of here. Like, my wedding, I think I tried on dresses for the whole process. For me took under 2 hours, and that's not common, okay? Y'all know y'all watch Yes to the Dress and all that stuff. We picked the venue, no problem. We were engaged for maybe a month and the venue was picked, deposit paid, let's move on. The only change we had obviously was in February when we switched to the reception venue, but even that, Jamal and I had already had that place on the list as a possibility, and I was like, let's just go down the street to that place and move on. So I'm excited. I can't wait to share more with you guys. Some people were speculating in my last video that I was pregnant. Y'all, I am not pregnant. I may have a, you know, I'm still working on her, but I'm not pregnant, and I know it was more so because I said I have exciting news. Y'all will find out about the exciting news soon, but that's not it. I'm not pregnant, I guarantee you. Okay, so that's that question. The next question that I got was, how do you make your website? And you guys know that I did use Shopify. Go on YouTube, very simple, and Google how to use Shopify free templates. When you open up and start your Shopify, it'll give you the option to start a free use a free website. You can purchase one, or you can get someone to make your website, but for me, I didn't have the funds, and it wasn't something that I wanted to spend money on at the time, and so I just created it, and my website has evolved quite a bit. You can also go on Canva to create slides for your website to make it look more professional, so that's also an option. The next question is, what made you come up with the idea for skincare? I think some people think I just woke up and was like, ooh, let me start a skincare line. No, it didn't happen that way. I think I mentioned in part 1 of this video, this stems back a decade or so for me. My great-grandmother was an advocate, okay, for self-care and for just taking care of yourself. And like I said in the last video, it's God and his infinite wisdom. It's so funny how he brought Jamal and I together. Jamal tells me stories all the time about how, you know, his grandmother was super just into making sure she was put together and make sure she took care of herself, and that kind of transcended. His mother always tells me she would always, you know, make sure that they were taken care of and upkept, and to keep up with, you know, kept up. I can't talk today. And then like I said, my grandmother my great-grandmother was an advocate for self-care, y'all. I can remember being like 3 years old. She would put me in the tub. I would have like a bathtub with like Mr. Bubble. At the time I was using Mr. Bubble, not no more, and a huge white fluffy bath towel, and I would get out and she'd tell me pat dry. We don't rub dry, we pat dry. And into that, when I was about 7 or 8, I can remember the first time like me in the kitchen making my own lip scrub and making body scrubs in the kitchen. And at this time I wasn't really utilizing YouTube. It was more so Google that I was utilizing, but I've been making skincare in my kitchen since I was 8. When I was in 6th grade, I actually had a group of friends, and we used to have these things called spa parties, y'all. And we would actually Google recipes, and we would create skincare, and we would have a whole bunch of girls come over to my one friend's house, and we would have like this huge spa, and we would charge people to come to the spa party. And so I didn't just start this thing like all willy-nilly. I have a ton of stories, like a ton of products that I've been making for myself for years. I started making hair butter when I was a freshman in high school, because I had just went natural. Actually, I went natural in 8th grade, but I was still experimenting with my hair in high school. and I went natural and I started making hair butter because I saw a video on YouTube, very old video, and the young lady had mixed shea butter from the beauty supply and olive oil and coconut oil. And when I tell y'all, my hair had gotten so healthy. I think from the time that I was like a freshman all the way up until, even though I kept cutting my hair because I was obsessed with bobs in high school, I don't know why, but I would wear Bantu knot outs, and I would use my concoction of beauty supply, shea butter, and olive oil and coconut oil, and I would mix it together. I was making body oil when I was in high school. I would mix olive oil and grapeseed, coconut, and just mix them up together and put a little tea tree in there. I don't know why I put tea tree in there, but like I said, I was experimenting. So I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. Been obsessed with skincare. I've been obsessed with makeup all my life, like my eyebrows, everything. So anything hair, skin, I've been doing this since, I'm gonna say since I was about 8 years old. But of course, like I said, I was introduced to all of these concepts by my grandmother, and then my mother, of course, and my aunt. Self-care has just always been kind of taught to me and shown directly to me. So I feel like having that example as well, and then having what I learned from my grandmother, and then it kind of transcending over into like me being a young adolescent playing in the kitchen, like mixing up sugar and olive oil to scrub on my lips. You know, I was the most upkept self-care 8-year-old, self-care enthusiast 8-year-old you'd ever seen. Okay, like lips was always smooth, legs was smooth, what? But I also had to be careful because I had eczema at that time. So yeah, but I can remember to this day the first time my mom took me to the beauty supply. I think I was in like 4th grade, maybe 3rd or 4th grade. She took me to the beauty supply and we got shea butter and we got a whole bunch of hair products, and she got me like some hair oils. And then we went to Target and she got me a cute little caddy, and inside the caddy she put like all my deodorant and stuff in there. She put all of my like stuff in there, and I just remember that moment and just remember thinking like, I love to take showers. I love baths. I used to love oatmeal baths, y'all. I could go on and on. Like my dad used to make me oatmeal baths and I would just sit in there. I used to have a jacuzzi in my tub. You had to like plug it into the wall and then stick it in the tub. Self-care has always been my thing. Like seriously, to this day my parents are like, what are you doing in there? I'm like, I'm having self-care, please leave me alone, like goodbye. But yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's not just something that I just rolled over in the middle of the night and was like, y'all, tomorrow I'm gonna start my skincare line. No, this is long awaited. Okay, if I would have started this at 16, who knows, I wasn't ready for that. But anyway, the next question is, what tip would you give someone who is new to the skincare business? Research, 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 and branding. 2 things you need to focus on. You need to focus on research first, obviously, because like I said earlier, you don't want to go mixing products or ingredients that should not be mixed together. And then you just want to really practice. I started kind of reformulating, or started formulating things back in like October of 2019 before I even started my business in general. And I did that for months before I even mentioned skincare. I think there is one vlog out there where I started talking to y'all about how I was practicing my skincare business or something. But I started for maybe 6 or 7 months. I actually just researched and practiced skincare or practiced making products and all that stuff for like 6 or 7 months, and then I started implementing skincare into my business. So definitely research and give yourself some time. If you know you want to start your skincare business this summer, I would start right now just buying small quantities of ingredients, using it yourself. Get you a little group, you know, maybe 1 or 2 of your friends and a family member, and allow them to try it out. Touch bases with them as you know time goes on. That's just what I did. See what their progress is. Also gives you a chance to have some progress pictures if you ever want those as well. So definitely starting out with research is the most important thing that you want to do. And then like I said, branding is going to be your #1 thing. I'm going to speak branding into your life because I am working on branding myself in my business. It's something that I would tell you if we were having one of a coaching call or something like that. But it's something that I wish someone would have preached to me at the beginning, because once you kind of get in the thick of it, establishing it later is hard. And then now that everything is I'm not gonna say anything is oversaturated. Nothing is ever oversaturated. It always seems that way when you get in the middle of it, like, oh my god, everybody has a skincare business. But while there's a percentage of people that do, there's a large percentage of people who don't. And so you're gonna feel like it's oversaturated, but it's just gonna feel that way because you're in the business, you got all these hashtags and stuff related to you now, and so everything skincare is gonna be popping up around you. But you always have to remember that this is a bubble that I'm in, and I need to figure out how to get outside of that bubble and reach people. I'm giving y'all too much because that's something I would say in a call. Yeah, just have to really establish your branding. I would definitely, you know, start looking at just trying to create a brand, your brand overall. Create your brand overall, because your branding is going to be the thing that helps you to stand out and really just be seen and be out there. Like your voice, your messaging, you know, how it transcends in your pictures and your posts on your website is it's necessary. It's probably the #1 important thing that you need to establish first before you establish anything else after that research. The next question was, how do you get your body butter smooth? Y'all, trial and error. I can guarantee you, #1, another thing I want to say in addressing the last question is just start. Definitely go through your months of research and stuff like that, but don't just put it off for, you know, years because you're scared and you feel things are saturated. Just start, just do it. And this leads me into the answers to this question. That took a lot of trial and error and learning about ingredients, learning what happens when you you know, mix things in the cooling stage or in the hot stage. You have to really just practice that thing, and over time my body butter just began to get better, especially once I learned about, you know, really understanding formula. You definitely want to research formula, research the percentages of items that your ingredients you're putting in, because if you put too much, like for me, for a long time I could not understand why my body butters were not super smooth, and it was because I was using too much cocoa butter. My cocoa butter percentage was like at 35, and that was way too much for what I wanted. Now if you want more cocoa butter in your body butter, then that's for you, but for me personally, I didn't want that much, but I just wasn't, you know, correlating that I didn't need that much. So you definitely, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error, but definitely plan out those ingredients, research them, research formulas, and that's how you're gonna really get a smooth formula. Another thing is, some people don't like to let their body butter sit to solidify a little bit, but I do. Some people don't melt their butters, but I melt my butters because that is what gives the creamiest consistency that I have found. So that's gonna also take some trial and error. I have gotten to the point now where I only melt my butters to a certain temperature and to a certain, like, there's a certain point that I just know that the butter is ready, and there's a certain temperature that I look for. So researching all that stuff is going to be important, but to get it super creamy like that, I definitely would say, you know, I melt my stuff first, and then I allow it to solidify some, and I whip that thing until it's creamy. Don't stop whipping till you see that creaminess. Okay, the next question is, how do you deal with negative talk from people about your business? That's something that I have dealt with a lot, and it actually caused me to kind of go into a depression. I talked to you guys about that here as well on my channel once before, but there were people who really did not want to see me in this position. And to me, this position is so humbling. So, you know, I just asked God to cover me, you know, and give me wisdom for anything else that he has for me, or just to even continue where I am now. But there were people who did not want to see me in this position, or see me in this space, and they told me pretty much in so many words and in their actions and things of that nature. And you know, after a while I got to a place, just like I am with YouTube, and I told you guys once before, like, I just had to get out of this mindset of like being scared to create content, being scared to, you know, live what I wanted to live. I think I talked about that in like my 1,000 follower video or something like that. But I just got to a place now where I say to myself, if I don't do this, and if I don't keep up with this, and if I don't keep going, and if I don't keep trying, and if I don't keep living what I'm supposed to be living, my business, what I'm supposed to be working towards, if I don't keep doing this and I give up, who's gonna regret it at the end, me or them? They're not gonna regret it. They're gonna be, you know, in your face like, I told you so. I told you you weren't gonna do it. I told you you weren't gonna get where you're supposed to go. I told you you weren't going to progress and succeed. I told you your business wasn't. They're gonna be telling you that. They're gonna be thinking that. They're gonna be talking in groups. There's a video by Steve Harvey, and in the video he says God is gonna remove people from you who were not supposed to be there, who were saying things in rooms that you weren't in, saying things in rooms that you were not in. He's gonna do that. And so just ask God, ask him, remove them. If they're wishing me evil, if they are not wishing me good, if they are speaking negatively about me in those rooms, God, show that to me, reveal that to me, and remove anybody who you do not find for me. Ask him that, and he'll see it and start snatching them up. Okay, and be prepared for that, because that part's gonna suck too. People who you thought were gonna support you are just not. They're not gonna think twice to. They're not gonna think once to. And don't be ashamed of that. Don't be like, dang, I don't have supporters. You do. They'll come. A lot of my supporters, 90% of the people who support my business, I have never seen or met before. I've never spoken to them. I don't know them. A lot of people who watch my videos, I don't know. I don't see them. I don't know you. I don't personally know you guys. You guys choose with the kindness of your heart to support me and to love on me and love on my business and love on my channel. And I've never met you before. I wish that I could, but don't let that get you down, because like I said, at the end of the day, who's gonna regret it at the end? When you look back over your life, and if Taylor was to look back over her life, or if I was to look back over my life, if I was to look back over my life, I'm gonna regret not starting Luxe Glow. The people who talk negatively about me, or said things about me, or have some kind of way about my YouTube channel, or feel some type of way about my channel, or, you know, mock me on my channel, or whatever they do, I don't know, those people, they're not going to be regretting this 10-15 years from now. You know, it's going to be me regretting it that I didn't do it. And so that's why I choose to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it, because they're not going to be the ones regretting it. And if God removes them from my life, it's clear why, you know. So just don't let that get you down. Affirmations have been the biggest. They're right there. My vision board. Affirmations. My journal. Affirmations have been the biggest thing for me. Some people will speak against them. I have had some, or seen, I haven't had anyone personally, but I have seen some, you know, people say, oh, that's not of God. The Bible is full of affirmations. Daily affirmations you need. Okay, you are the head and not the tail. Please don't get me started. Okay, y'all know I told you I've been working on my spiritual journey, but the Bible is full of affirmations, and you need them every single day. Oh my God, you need them every day. I will cry right now. You need those every day. That's the only thing that's going to keep you going, is that word, is getting closer to God. If you are starting a business, I highly suggest you start that business, but also work on your spiritual journey, because baby, you need it. This is the time before you even get started. That is on my vision board right there, spiritual growth, and he is definitely taking me through that. Daily affirmations, you need them. You need them. You need to be encouraging yourself every single day. You need to write them to yourself every single day. Okay, that's what I do in here. I have so many of these journals. That's what I do in this notebook. Got this from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, something like that. But you need something. You can go to Dollar Tree, buy 3 or 4 of them, because you're gonna fill them up. I want you to do it every single day. I want you to write those affirmations to yourself every single day. I want you to journal every day. I write my prayers in here. I write my dreams for my business. All of my goals for my business are in this. If I lose this book, I'm gonna be real sad. Everything. Dreams for my life, plan the things that I, you know, am working towards in my life. Everything is in here, and I pray over them, and I write prayers to God about them in this book. I write prayers on the days when I feel bad, when my business is getting no sales. I write it in here, and I tell God, you know, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that strength. You're gonna need something to go to when it's not looking good. You need to go to him. You need to go to your book. You need to go to your Bible. You're gonna need it. I guarantee you, because the negativity does not stop. The more you grow, the more it comes. With much success comes, you know, here they come. They coming. They riding up. They ready. They coming after you. They got something to say, you know. And so you have to prepare. You have got to prepare yourself, because it doesn't get any better. Right now it feels really bad because you're starting out. You're not even in the thick of it yet. You're at the top. You're at the top of it. You haven't even gotten down into the thick of it yet. I haven't even gotten as down in the thick of it yet as I am telling y'all. So I can only imagine. But I know that I'm going to prepare myself for that, you know, and I'm going to just strengthen myself for that. You have to strengthen yourself. You have to strengthen your business. Nothing should be able to come down and tear you away or you know, put you in a bad headspace regarding your business. But you have to prepare yourself for that and strengthen yourself in order to feel that, okay? That's what I have to say about that. I got a lot to say about that. I think it's time for me to do another entrepreneur motivation video. Is, do you have any tips for a pop-up shop? No, but I will soon. I'm actually going to be at a pop-up shop very soon, in the next couple of weeks, which I plan to vlog that experience. So y'all will be able to, I'll be able to give you some tips. But from what I've seen though, from my own personal research, everybody goes to Dollar Tree and just gets a whole bunch of stuff. So I feel like there's more to this pop-up shop thing. But from what I've seen, everybody just says have plenty of bags, have enough stuff on hand, have a way where people can place orders, and have a ton of like business cards and things of that nature, and price lists and samples. Samples was another big one that I saw. But and have something that's branded out there, so like a sign or a printed, you know, flyer or something like that. So from what I've pulled, those are kind of the key tips that I've found so far, but once I have more, I'll share them with you for sure. The next question is, what was your budget when you got started? So I'm gonna go off of skincare. When I started my skincare budget, or when I started my skincare brand, I should say, I was using money from my previous business, and I think I given myself like a $600 budget to start out with, but that was just like, that was for everything. And at the time I was using a vendor for my first set of skincare. I think about that vendor and I just think about how I messed up, but I was using a vendor for my first set of skincare. But you definitely need a budget, because if not, you will go over budget. But yeah, when I first started, it was about $600, and that kind of covered a good amount of stuff. And I feel like that's a good starting point. 500 bucks, that's a great starting point. You'd be surprised, some ingredients are expensive, some are less expensive. I can tell y'all now, one of the most expensive ingredients I spend money on is my oils. I spend a lot of money on oils. I'd be trying to give y'all like A1 top tier quality. I spend a lot of money on oils. My most expensive oil is probably that's a hard answer. Maybe jojoba, probably. I don't know, probably not. Maybe not sweet almond. I don't know, but I spend a lot of money on oils. So definitely, if you want quality stuff, you know, you're gonna need a little bit more money. That's just the reality of it. I gotta speak to you in reality. I can't speak to you, you know, trying to pour false hope. If you trying to make some top tier and use some really great ingredients that actually create results for your customers, you know, you can't just be buying any old type of oil, or you can't just be, you know, getting stuff from anywhere. You got to really test these places out, and testing places out, getting ingredients costs money. And but the thing that I will tell you is, don't let this steer you, right? Because one thing I wish someone would have told me was start out with 1 or 2 products, you know. And even if you start out with more products than that, there are places that have amazing ingredients that are still quality, you know. And you don't, when you're first starting out, I wish someone also would have told me this, you don't need gallons of oil, Taylor. You don't need, you know, 5 gallons of grapeseed oil and you're just starting out. You just don't. Wait and see what happens and kind of progress on. That's why those ingredients are important, but budget is very important, and stuff costs money, quality costs money. But there are some, you know, some cheaper things. Like if I'm gonna spend, like when I was starting out, if I was gonna spend more money on my oils, I probably wasn't gonna spend that much money on my containers. You know, you gotta figure out what you wanna spend more money on. For me, it was the ingredients and the product that I needed to stand up. And that's over anything. You know, that was over shipping bags for me. That was over stickers. That was over, you know, some things outweighed others. So you got to kind of figure out what's more important and what's not to your brand. If branding, or if, you know, jars is something that you're really focused on, then jars might be something you want to splurge on. You might want to just make your own labels and, you know, save some money there and use that money towards jars. So you kind of have to weigh your pros and cons. I would start out with that first, and then create your budget, and then research how much this stuff costs, and find different avenues. Some stuff you're not going to be able to get through wholesale or vendors right away. For me, I didn't get containers through vendors right away. I got all my containers from Amazon when I first started. I think I even got my shea butter and cocoa butter and mango butter off Amazon when I first started. So you have to kind of find different avenues and a lot of research. That's why I said I gave myself 7 months. The skincare business, I started researching that way before, like I told you guys. So I gave myself like 7 months of trial and error and testing stuff out. Every time I would get paid, I would put up some money or buy a new ingredient or something. And I think it took me like a month to get everything I needed for body butter. And then I was able to fund, like I said, for my other business. So I was able to use a vendor for the first time. And it's just really up to you. You can use a vendor and just save all that energy, because, you know, energy making products is still money. You still got to pay yourself. So if you just want to cut all that out and get somebody else to do it, you can do that also. It just depends on what you want. But I started out with 600 bucks. That's what I had. That's what I saved up. And I started out with about 5 products. So it's really all about what you want, weighing the pros and cons. Okay, this next question is, any tips for new YouTubers? I'm still trying to figure this YouTube thing out myself. But if I had to give you 2 tips, I would just say just get out there and do it. And for me personally, I had to find a purpose for my channel, and my purpose was to document my life and my journey, not just for anyone else, but also for myself, for me to look back on. And so find that purpose. If you do feel like your channel has a purpose to help entertain and help others, then allow it to do that. And that will drive you on the days when you don't feel, you know, good about your channel, or when you don't feel, you know, like getting up and doing a video. That's just the truth. Because when you first start out, it's not easy. And I've talked about my YouTube journey once before, so I'm not gonna do that because I've talked long enough today. But definitely just get up and do it, and find purpose in why you're doing it, and create content that you feel comfortable with. There's this stigma that everything on YouTube has to be perfect. And I'm old school YouTube. Y'all don't know that, but I'm old school YouTube. I started watching YouTube when I was in about 5th grade. I am old school YouTube, old school Dulce Candy, old school Juicy Star 07. I am old school Mac Barbie. 08 I think is her Instagram or her YouTube. Who else did I used to watch? Yeah, I am old school Tierra Monet. Like, I am old school YouTube. When YouTube was first, like, Charlie bit my finger YouTube, Charlotte takes a tumble YouTube. Like, I'm old school YouTube. And a lot of y'all I think are a little younger than I am. So you don't know that YouTube, but that YouTube was more carefree, and I miss that, and I try to bring as much of that to my channel. Yes, things have evolved and changed, and of course you kind of have to go with the times if you want to see your channel grow, and just kind of go with what's really picking up. But some days, like, I just want to sit here and talk to y'all like YouTubers used to do, like I'm doing right now. Like, I'm old school Raven Elise. Like, I am old school YouTube. I am old school YouTube. Like, old school Vicky Logan. Yeah, I'm that old school YouTube. So that's me. But I've been doing this thing for 10 years, and I am just now getting comfortable, and I'm just now actually getting somewhere with it. So, and I'm not even where I would, like, I couldn't even imagine that I'm here right now, to be honest with y'all, because yeah, I've been trying to do YouTube for 10 years, and I'm just now getting to a place where I feel comfortable. So I don't really have any tips in growth or anything like that, because I'm still working on that myself. But as far as like comfortability and actually doing something that you desire to do, I definitely would suggest just getting up there and finding the purpose and just doing it, because you're gonna need it. So okay, the last question. I know y'all are clapping because it's the last question, but what is my favorite product to make? I think that my favorite products to make are definitely the turmeric bars, body butters, and the hair juicy hair serum, for sure. I love making the juicy hair serum because I like watching the colors change and kind of come together. But yeah, those are probably like my top 3 at the moment. Like, I'm obsessed with making them. So yeah, those are the questions that I got asked in that Q&A. Finishing off, thank you guys so much for watching this long video. I already know, but if you made it to the end, shout out to you. I appreciate you so much. Y'all know I can talk. I should change this channel to Taylor Can Talk. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys are doing well and just staying positive, staying encouraged. Hopefully something was said in these videos to help you, and to just really encourage you and give you guys like some extra oomph. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I will talk to you guys very soon in the next video. As always, stay blessed, stay safe, and yeah, I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching.